More on the economic outlook. Clifford Bennett from ACY Securities joining us now live. Clifford, good morning. So, yeah, look, given what's happened overnight, very much risk off. There is growing concern, well, not just concern, but we're seeing the impact of the Delta variant and it's spread across the globe at the moment. How are you looking at the picture?
Well, you just mentioned oil, and Andrew, and I think oil has topped out. I think we've seen a major long-term lasting high in oil. I've been saying that for several weeks now. I think we're at an inflection point of massive proportions. I mean, I was on your show that I said above 77 cents, the Aussie would go to 70. We're halfway there already. I think the price action in the Dow Jones last night was very much a market back-breaking day. And the other markets held up a little bit better, the tech sector and the S&P 500. But I think a lot of people are going to rush into those and want to buy the dip today. And we'll see how that rally goes. But I think people should be extremely cautious. I do think this, you mentioned input prices there. Acceleration is going to accelerate, not be transitory. People are looking at it upside down, I think. And I think the big mistake a lot of people have made is to think that vaccinations equal economic growth. Vaccinations may allow, if they're effective and reach herd immunity levels, which have only happened in a couple of countries so far, then the economy can get back to perhaps near what it would have been. But it's really stimulus that drove that economic surge in the United States and has driven a large part of the Australian economy, as well as our exports remaining strong. And that idea that vaccinations equal economic growth, I think, is a myth. And that's going to increasingly be seen in data. In Israel, for instance, the highest vaccination rate in the world, they're already experiencing another economic contraction. I mean, there are other factors at play there as well, but certainly they've had a surge in Delta, and it's particularly among adolescents there, half their new cases. So the UK is really rolling the dice here. It's taking a big experiment, and it's risking going the way of the United States, unfortunately, and it's already had a bad run. But overall, I think we need to look at markets at the moment as that whole euphoria trade that we're entering some new long-lasting economic nirvana is now being seen for what it was, all of a false story, really, based on stimulus to various economic and economies and markets. And we're now looking at a return to earth, which hopefully Jim Bezos will have in the not-too-distant future. But, we've got to come back to earth, and that is that stocks are highly overvalued around the world, and that's why we saw European markets crashing. I think this is the tipping point, and everyone needs to have a very diversified, active portfolio.
Do you feel as though there's misplaced confidence in vaccines at the moment, because there is perhaps some questions emerging about the efficacy of those vaccines in relation to the Delta variant, and I guess then how that's likely to impact demand going forward, because we are seeing economies such as the UK looking to completely reopen. We're seeing that, but of course questions remain of just how risky that is.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Andrew. A lot of that reopening is based on this confidence that vaccines would solve the problem. But even the manufacturers themselves never claimed they were foolproof. They never claimed you got 100% coverage. And yet that's how people have sort of responded. Oh, it's a vaccine, we're cured. Even the manufacturers say that some people who get vaccinated, it won't work for. And against Delta strain, it is less effective. Pfizer wants a third booster approved by the FDA. So that's 3 boosters in the first 12 months and 1 every year thereafter. So this is a struggle to contain this variant. I guess the issue is hospitalizations. If your health system isn't overrun, you don't need to have lockdowns, although you need to have lockdowns in countries like Australia and New Zealand that have maintained low case numbers. We have the opportunity to keep it low. So It's a different situation. But yes, the UK is really rolling the dice there. And I think people need to be aware that, when you get vaccinated, you still have to take care. And I think if you do both things, that's probably the best personal path for everyone.
All right, Clifford, almost out of time, but in terms of portfolio positioning, if you're seeking safe haven security at the moment. Where are you going? Are you liking
Well,
gold?
yes, I'm particularly liking gold against the Australian dollar. So you short the Aussie dollar, you buy gold. So you're long Aussie gold. That's also could be good for gold miners, though they will be impacted by the share market sentiment overall. But Aussie gold I particularly like. I like selling oil. Sorry for selling. The one thing I like buying at the moment is gold, and I like buying the US dollar, which sounds odd, but I think American corporations are going to be repatriating a lot of funds, feeling that they're going to be a safe haven in this sort of globalization of Delta and inflation, bring their money back to the US where it's safe until they're sure how things look going ahead. So strong US dollar and strong gold, very much though pressuring oil and Aussie dollar, and stocks in general, I think are in a lot of trouble here.
Clifford, thanks for joining us from ACY Securities.